Hello there, Gary here. So for the last few weeks I've been using the Pixel 6 Pro very much as my main phone, and I've got to admit it's great. But do I want to change from my S21 Ultra? Let's discuss. In terms of design, from the front of the phones, the Pixel 6 Pro and the S21 look fairly similar, although the S21 Ultra is a little bit narrow and a little bit taller. The Pixel 6 Pro has a curved screen, which is an interesting move given the fact that everyone else seems to be moving away from curved screens, even Samsung. To be fair, the S21 Ultra has a slight curve, nowhere near as big as the Pixel 6 Pro. So, if you prefer a flatter screen, go for the S21 Ultra. The Pixel 6 Pro has an improved camera housed in a visor-shaped camera module. I know this divides a little bit of opinion with everybody, but I actually think it looks really good and I actually quite like it. Now, one thing about the Pixel 6 Pro that I don't like is the fact that it's such a slippery phone. When you compare it to the S21 Ultra, which has like this matte glass frosted effect, the S21 Ultra picks up fingerprints and dust, so you're forever cleaning it, unless you've got a case obviously. Both have in-display fingerprint scanners, however the S21 Ultra uses ultrasonic fingerprint scanner compared to the Pixel 6 Pro, which uses optical, which was very much used on phones 2 or 3 years ago. So the S21 Ultra is definitely faster and works new enough every time, whereas the Pixel 6 Pro can be a little bit slow, can sometimes not work. So it's a little unreliable. It would have been nice to have Face Unlock on the Pixel 6 Pro as an option, but it's not here. So overall on design, I would say that the Samsung is better. Don't get me wrong, I like the Pixel. It's not sleek, it looks good, but just the back of it is just like this greasy, dust collecting, messy glass. And it looks nice when you first use it, but obviously if you don't use a case, it just gets disgusting and isn't very nice. So the fact that the Samsung just feels probably nicer in the hand and is less susceptible to fingerprints and dust and things like that, I would choose the Samsung. Both phones are super fast. The Pixel 6 Pro is driven by Google's new in-house processor Tensor, whereas the S21 Ultra, well in the UK anyway, uses Exynos 2100. And you know, to be fair, they're both pretty snappy, and in everyday use you can't notice the difference. Traditionally, people have always used a Pixel mainly for two reasons: having stock Android and for the cameras. And this year, the phone comes with Android 12 out of the box with Material UI, and it's a big upgrade for Google. And you know, I like it. I don't think I like it as much as I thought I was going to. It's a little bit cartoony, and yeah, it doesn't look like the most professional, but it's colourful and bright and nice features like having better widgets. The S21 Ultra obviously comes with One UI 3 out of the box, but I know One UI 4 is about to drop. And to be fair, I've been using the beta of One UI 4 and I actually really like it. I think it's really good. And for me, I've become a really big fan of One UI. Now, if you saw my last video about the S21 Ultra, battery life has been a bit mixed for me. You know, finishing the day 10 to 15% has been good, but not brilliant. Whereas the Pixel has been fantastic, despite having a smaller battery. Now, I'm putting this probably down to the Tensor chip and being more efficient. But with the Pixel, I've been finishing the day with 25, 30, sometimes even 40%. And that's using the phone heavily during the day. So in terms of software, I guess you got to say that obviously Google is the king of software. And to be fair, they're also the king of providing updates, and you're guaranteed with this phone to get 5 years of software updates. Now, Samsung have actually got really good recently about giving you regular updates, but they're only promising up to a maximum 3 years of definite Android updates. So you got to say Pixel. In terms of actual software experience, they're pretty much of a muchness now. I prefer One UI 4. That you just get a lot more sort of software features for me from Samsung. Now, both phones come fully stocked with flagship specs: 120Hz adaptive refresh rate screens for super smooth responsiveness, stereo speakers, which both phones are excellent, full HDR plus screens for watching content on Netflix and YouTube, and of course 5G support. But both phones offer features which are unique. So for instance, the Pixel for me has the best voice recognition. You can basically use the phone without even picking it up. It's just great, and it works every time, and it doesn't really matter how fast or slow you talk. I don't know how they do it, it's magic. There's also other great software features. One feature I've been using is Magic Eraser on the Pixel. And to be honest, it works, definitely works well when you have relatively simple and consistent backgrounds on your photos. Now the thing is, Samsung also launched a similar feature when they announced the S21 Ultra. And again, having used both, I would say they both work very similarly. So obviously with the Pixel, you get a very stock software Android experience. Samsung, on the other hand, goes the opposite way and basically throws everything they can in terms of features at you. For example, the ability to use the S Pen as a note fan has been a great addition. Wireless decks, a really underrated feature for me. Even simple things like having the side panel, which I use on a regular basis, particularly for using multitasking. So in terms of features, I think it comes down to what you want to use most. Do you want to use your voice more? Then obviously definitely go for the Pixel. If you enjoy using the S Pen or Dex, then you've obviously got to go for Samsung. For me, I enjoy using the S Pen, although because of how good the voice recognition is on this phone, it would almost tempt me to switch just for that. But for the moment, given the features you get with Samsung, plus obviously things like Samsung Smart Things app, where you can obviously find lost Galaxy Buds, or you can use the smart tags. I would say having that little bit more of an ecosystem compared to the Pixel, which obviously you haven't really got. For me, Samsung trumps it. To the camera, and this is where it gets interesting. Now, let me put it out there. If you want a great point and shoot camera, the Pixel 6 Pro is fantastic. And I don't think you can get much better on an Android phone at the moment. The way that the computational photography works on Pixels is just great. They're punchy, sharp, and they look great in nearly any light. Nightscape mode is fantastic. It makes night photography almost look like day. Google also introduced 2 new modes in terms of motion shots with long exposure and action pan. Now, both actually work pretty well and just demonstrates the computational magic that Google produces on their cameras. So for point and shoot, I would choose the Pixel 6 Pro. But this might not be for everybody. You might want to have a lot more control over some of the settings in the camera. And for me, Samsung still offers the most versatile experience on an Android. One of my favourite features on a Samsung camera is the single take option. There's director's mode. There's pro modes for video and photos. So if you like tinkering and playing with all the settings, then the Samsung is for you. But I'm guessing 99% of people don't really care, and all they want to do is pick their phone out of the pocket and take a shot. And for me, I would always choose a Pixel. Video, on the other hand, I would go with the Samsung. Despite Google saying that they've improved video, and to be fair, they have, I would still say the Samsung is better quality and is more consistent. Now, in terms of the camera, as I said, I think point and shoot, you can't beat the Pixel. For me, it's probably up there, probably the best. Probably is slightly better than the iPhone, I think, and it's definitely the best Android point and shoot camera. However, Samsung, I think you get a lot more features and you get a lot more options to tinker around with the settings. So that's got to be a plus if you use a Samsung phone. And for things like video, I think Samsung is better. It's probably the best Android video recording camera you can get at the moment. So for me, that's definitely a plus. But again, it comes down to what do you want to use. If you're just someone who just gets their phone out of their pocket to take a quick shot, then this is definitely the phone for you. But if you want a camera that can go up to 100 times zoom to take pictures of the stars and the moon and things like that, then obviously the S21 Ultra is definitely the phone for you. Now, obviously, I've been using the S21 Ultra and the Pixel side by side for a few weeks now, and here are some of the pictures and videos that I've taken. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. So for me, I'm going to stick with my Samsung phone. I just think I like having more options, and I enjoy obviously the ecosystem that I have at the moment. I've been using the Samsung. So for me, I'm going to stick with the Samsung. Although the camera is really that good on the Pixel that I'm almost tempted to switch just purely for that. So thanks very much for watching. A like for the video would be great. A sub to the channel would be excellent. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, cheers.